All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. We are going to go ahead and get started with Dr. Donna Hight here to kind of welcome us and tell us a little bit what's going to be happening today.
I want to thank everybody for coming. I'm Dr. Donna Hight, the Assistant Dean of Student Success at Ohio State Mansfield, and I'm also the chair of the Education Working Group for the Richland County Task Force on Racism. Based on my work in both of these roles, Richland County students have two incredible educational institutions in their own backyard and many scholarships that are available through the Richland County Foundation. This community is certainly committed to student success in secondary and post-secondary education, and we want to share some resources that are available to you. I also want to thank Jennifer and Amanda and Allie for serving today as panelists and bringing this information to you, because I think it is very important to share with every student in Richland County. Today, we're going to have representatives from the Ohio State University at Mansfield, North Central State College, and the Richland County Foundation. These speakers are a few of your first contacts as you enter your junior and senior years of high school and plan for your future. We're going to continue these conversations with talking about FAFSA on November 2nd. This is going to be held on Zoom too, and you and your family can sign up at go.osu/FAFSA Mansfield, go.osu.edu/FAFSA Mansfield. We can come do these workshops for you at your high school or other community locations. And I know that NC State and MOESC are also going to be offering a lot of FAFSA workshops because both have received grants in order to do FAFSA workshops as well. So you're going to see lots of opportunities to get support and assistance with help with FAFSA. And trust me, I know that it can be challenging, and they've tried to make it easier. I've done it myself. In the spring, we're going to offer a workshop on how to negotiate your first year of college and things that you might want to know about resources on college campuses. So please just keep watching for these events to promote college going and student success in college. And now I want to turn this over to Jennifer Fry from Ohio State Mansfield to talk about how to pick the next right path after high school. Thank you. Thanks, Jennifer.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Hight. All right. So when looking at this, I am Jennifer Fry, Director of Enrollment Services here for The Ohio State University. This is our contact information, and you'll see that at the end as well. Just a few housekeeping pieces here today as we are in our webinar setting. If you have any questions or any tech issues, you can certainly put those in the chat, and you can put them directly to us as the hosts, or you can also put them in the Q&A. We will be doing the chat questions and Q&A at the end. So put them in throughout the presentation and we will cover them at that time. And if you have opportunity that you want to take a picture of any of the screens just to have that information, you sure can. We will share these slides out though to your schools via PDF, and then also the recording of this session as well. So you can hopefully have this information for reference as we go through, because we know it's a lot of information, and we just want to start that conversation with everybody to just really help you as you're going on this college search and how to pay for it, and really what our community options are. Okay, so when you're looking at that college search, we really want to start off in regards to some activities you may have already done in your middle school and your high school about, what's the career you should be following, right? You probably answered some questionnaires, watched some videos, and it told you this is what you should be doing. And I really want to take that one step further. And if you haven't had the opportunity to really sit and think about what is it that I'm good at? What is it that I really enjoy doing? And, I really like doing this, working with my hands. I like taking things apart. I love art. I appreciate art. I love to talk, I love social media. I want to be the one that's doing somebody's social media on, their Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, and learning about all the new trends out there. And what is something that if there is an event that maybe you're helping out with in an organization, that your friends turn to you right away? What do your friends tell you that you're good at? What do you end up doing in your friend group? Are you the one that's out there to make sure everybody knows that you're getting together to watch a movie tomorrow night at 6 o'clock? Or what do they depend on you for when it comes to those areas? So really that will kind of tell you too what others see in you and that you are excelling at. So you have kind of what comes easy to you as well. You're like, oh yeah, that's no problem. I don't know why other people can't figure out, how to run Instagram. I've been doing this for many years. You can come help me with that at some time. So, those skills that you really have that you enjoy, but also think about what challenges you. What is something that you enjoy doing, but it doesn't come easy. It takes a little bit of know-how and a little bit of research to get to do. I kind of liken it to doing a puzzle. If you like to do puzzles, that takes a little bit to get the puzzle done and you're trying to get all the pieces together and may not find the pieces that you want, but you still go for it and you're still finding yourself in front of it until it's completed. And that's a challenge that you enjoy and that you look forward to. So kind of thinking about that, what you do and what your role is amongst your friends and family and what you enjoy doing. If you could do it for the rest of your life and get paid to do it, what would that be? So when you're looking at schools, you kind of have three different options. You kind of look at the safety schools, a target school, and a reach school. So we'll start talking about the safety school. This is the one that you can go there, regardless of your application. As long as you graduate from high school, you know that you're probably going to get admitted or get accepted to their programs. Pretty sure that if you do get admitted that you want to attend there, it'd be all right. You could go there. If it's a school you could get into, but you're like, no, I can't go in there. I really don't want to go there, then don't apply. You don't need to apply to it, but make sure it's a place that, it's okay. It's everybody else is going there. So I know I could go there if other things don't pan out, but I want to make sure I have something in my back pocket. So I'm ready for this process. But it's going to be stable. It's going to be secure. It's going to fit your needs and what you have available. So maybe you always have family around there or a place to stay. You have resources as well that can support you wherever this school may be. So this is one that you may have already looked at, already complete the application. Maybe you haven't even taken a campus tour. You just know that this is where you're going to go. Next, you have that target school. That target school, it's a good fit, has the programs you like. Maybe you really love art and you love taking photography and you want to focus on that. And these schools have that. Maybe competitive to get in. You're not quite sure if you get in, but you have a good portfolio. You've been a solid student and you feel like you could get admitted. So you're like, I'm going to kind of stretch myself out there a little bit. Maybe it's a little bit further away from home. Maybe you would be living with, you don't know a whole lot of people going to school there, but you feel like you'd find other people that have similar interests and activities that you would be interested in, you'd like to learn more about. So you've been doing things in school with your classes and your involvement that's going to be setting yourself apart. So maybe you've been doing more yearbook involvement. Maybe you've been taking more photography classes. You want to make sure that when schools look at that transcript that you have pieces that really fit their programs. You're really excited about that. You make sure to double check your application. You make sure your application has all the pieces that you could possibly want in there. Everything is spell checked. You've had people read it 3 or 4 times. You've had your fellow teachers read it because you want to make sure those essays are good, that they're solid, that they really represent what you're trying to say. You have complete answers on everything. Before you press submit, you may have double checked this application because you're just like, I know it's a chance, but I want to take that chance. And I feel like I will get in, but I just really want to hedge my bets, making sure I have everything in there as much as possible. So that's going to be that target school. That's going to be that school that you're like, all right, I have about 3 or 4 of those that I would like to go to. I think I have a good chance, but since nothing is guaranteed, we're going to make sure we put even extra effort into it. Then next you have that reach school. We all know these schools, right? They're the ones that, oh, this would be awesome to go there. Who wouldn't want to go there to be, at their school, to be an alumni of there. But as you're looking at your involvement, you're looking at their school, you're looking at their application requirements, and maybe you've taken tours of the campuses and that's where you really fell in love with it. And you start to think, man, I don't know. There's 1 or 2 areas that I may not, reach, but maybe, that's okay with them. Maybe they're willing to see where I am really strong in the 3 or 4 other areas. Maybe that will make up for those 1 or 2 areas that I maybe fall short in. Maybe difficult to be admitted in there. Maybe it's an out-of-state school. So, they may prefer in-state students or what have you. But you still want to put your effort out there because maybe you have family out there, or you have friends out there, or you have connections that will help you once you get established out there. And you really want to try. You want to try. If it doesn't happen, it's okay. You won't let it get you down if you're not admitted, because you know what the options are, but you're going to put the best application forward you possibly can. You want to make sure that if it did happen, whoa, okay, is this going to be that viable option? You're not going to apply to a lot of these schools because, a lot of these schools may have application fees and the like, but you want to put a few out there because maybe they have good scholarships. And you know that, if I get in, I'll probably get these scholarships that'll help me pay for it. And that's awesome. It'd be really great if I got in. I'm going to put myself out there and just know you did your best. That's about all you can really ask of yourself, right? You're guaranteed to not be admitted if you don't put your application out there. So you want to make sure that you get your application out there and you try your best and you reach for those schools. So really want to mix that up. Keep an open mind. You want to set that bar high. So when you set that bar high, you have more opportunity that maybe you will reach one of those schools. And maybe you do get admitted to a couple schools in each of these categories, and you really get to look at all your options. And maybe you find out that, man, that reach school is now in my grasp. I can attend there. I know I have the resources. We're working it out and we're going to see what happens. Or maybe you're into that middle school, that reach school that you were looking at, and you're like, okay, I got in. This is awesome. I know a couple other people that are there. I think this fits me the best. I think this is the best option for me. Or maybe that safety school. You look at all of them together and you're like, oh, this really was the best option. I'm really glad that I looked here local or close by or whatever fits what your needs are. But really talk to people, talk to counselors, friends, teachers. They may know people who've attended these schools. They themselves may be an alumni of the schools, and they really have some insider information potentially, or some resources that they can direct you to that you may not know. This is a new process. These are big processes, correct? So you want to make sure that you talk to others. We start to be really networked in ways that you may not even realize that people know people and information out there. And this is where we really encourage students to visit campuses. We know this may look different this year. Maybe you can't take as many on-campus visits for whatever reason, but a lot of campuses have put out their virtual tours. You can always go to a campus and just walk around on your own and just get a feel for the students and the environment. And I always recommend that even if it's after the campus tour and the visit that you've done and you've met with staff members, you've maybe met with some teachers, some other students, that you take another walk through and maybe just go sit in the coffee shop, maybe go sit in the art studio and just kind of soak it in and just kind of see yourself like, is this where I fit in? Is this where I want to be? And really make sure that's the fit for you. You can talk to random people on campus. That's not always a bad thing. Or if you're going up to a student that maybe works there, you see they're at the coffee counter, or they're the attendant at the art studio, you can go over there and ask them and say, hey, what's your major? What are you doing here? How did you get to work here in this studio? What do you do for activities here? I'm kind of thinking about coming to this school. I just want to learn a little bit more. And I think if you approach it from that way, you'll get a lot of students willing to talk with you if they're not on their way to class. So take that opportunity to really get to know them and ask good questions. There are many good college matches for all students. So regardless of where you will be successful. You will find that way. And if maybe that first year you do well, but you're thinking, okay, I need to move home, or I need to switch the schools, there's always a transfer option. You can always transfer to other schools as well. So make sure to keep that in mind. And some of these schools may be 4 years, they may be 2 years, they may be an 18-month program for a certificate. So really look at all your options that are out there. I know I kind of mentioned a lot about schools, colleges, universities, but there's also other programs out there. We want to help you find that right fit for what you want to do. So always keep that in mind as you're looking at your resources. This here, I just kind of want to share with you a timeline in regards to something to just kind of be aware of. Kind of a typical timeline. that right now the FAFSA is open, and Amanda's going to talk about that in a little bit. And you want to make sure that you are completing resources by the deadlines. Deadlines are very, very important. They're not fluid. As you get further into your college, university career, and into your programs, you start to find out that deadlines are pretty hard and fast. You need to meet those deadlines so you can get maximum consideration for financial aid or for other resources that might be available. So make sure that you're meeting those. And every school may be very different. So you want to make sure that, okay, well, I know one school it's February 1st, but another one it's December 1st. And what does that mean? You know, there's a lot of questions and different deadlines out there. So make sure you're talking with the institutions, give them a call, talk to them. That's what our roles are at. All of the people talking today, our roles are to help you be successful. So make sure that you're contacting us and asking these questions. No question is a bad question. So please make sure you're using us as much as possible. From that January to April, a little bit of overlap there. You're going to be, as you're submitting your financial aid awards, you're going to be potentially receiving your financial aid awards from the schools to say, here's what we can offer you. You're going to be applying for external scholarships, and we have some great resources we're going to talk about in a little bit. Again, you need to apply. You need to apply because you never know what you might qualify for, and you don't know what other people may qualify for or not qualify for. So don't psych yourself out and think somebody else is going to get all of the awards. You might be the one that is the only one that qualifies for that or has the best application. So make sure that you do the work and do those. In May, this is a standard day. May 1 is a standard deadline for paying acceptance fees or enrollment deposits. When maybe before this too, maybe you've paid it and that's okay. But this is where you're saying to a school, I want to be in your fall class. I want to be at your desk in the fall taking that class with you all. And so you pay that enrollment deposit, maybe $100, maybe a couple $100. It all depends on the school. So make sure that you're looking again at what some of those costs are that may not be covered by financial aid. And then in the summer, this is if you're going to be living on campus, you'll finalize some housing options, or even if you're commuting, you also have the loan process for some of your financial aid and the loans you may be taking out. And payment plans. If you feel that maybe you can't pay for everything right up front, ask the school about a payment plan. That may be an option for you at the school because, again, the schools are here to help you as much as possible, and we want to help you meet deadlines. You're also going to have orientation, and this is really an exciting time for students. And then for us on campuses too, because we get to see our incoming class. But with that orientation, you're going to be signing up for your classes that you're going to be in the fall. You're there typically with other people, so you get to meet some of your fellow students that you'll be in classes with, and it just starts connecting you more and more to the campus and the school and the resources that are available there. And then August to September is move-in time. Start of classes, bills can be due, and that's really when it starts to become very real. You know, because you're graduating in May and all of a sudden in August, you're in these other classes. So use this kind of timeline as a guide. Know what the timelines are at the schools and institutions you're looking at, because you want to make sure that you do meet those deadlines. And ask them, you know, I changed my mind. I ended up not being able to do this by your deadline. Can I do this next year and make sure I meet the deadline? And most likely, yes. You know, you just go forward for the next year. A lot of this is information you may not know. So welcome questions in the chat, so we can cover those later on. And I'm going to turn it over to my friend Amanda from North Central State College as she continues telling you about the process. Oh.
Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate all that information. And she's absolutely correct. First and foremost, we are your local faces for that college exploration. So, and I'm Amanda Sheets, and I'm the Director of Admissions and Recruiting and Gateway Services over at North Central State College. And I get the fun job of talking to you about financial aid today. So here's my contact information. But I want to lay the groundwork for what we're going to discuss today. So we can move to the next slide. And here is why FAFSA is so important, because there are multiple resources for aid that's available to you. We have grants, which are need-based without repayment, which is so important. We also have scholarships. And like Jennifer indicated, you need to apply, because sometimes those scholarships are merit-based, sometimes they're performance-based, and sometimes you are the only one that applies for that scholarship. So therefore, it will go to you. So you never know. Work study, if you are at your university of choice and you want to get to know the facility better, or just have a part-time job, you are able to do that through work study. And those are need-based campus earning positions based upon that financial aid. And then also we have federal loans as well. So that's money that you do have to repay. And we're going to talk a little bit about that on the next slide. So the myths of financial aid, we see them, we hear them, and people have stories about their own financial aid information. And here's the true meaning behind it. Your parents are still supporting you financially, so they will be included on your financial aid information. You do have to fill out financial aid every single year. If you are attending a college or a university, that FAFSA does get completed every year at the beginning of October. So the sooner, the better that you can complete that. Do you need to have taxes to file? No, there are other forms that you can retrieve to file that information. Is FAFSA difficult to complete? I wouldn't necessarily say it's difficult, but I would say it's time consuming. And we like to use that word tedious sometimes. It can be tedious, but the deal is you want to make sure that you are taking your time. And then the biggest myth of all, I won't receive aid because my family makes too much money. That is necessarily not the case whatsoever. So financial aid is based on 2 years, prior 2 years tax information. So let's say in 2020, your family was doing well, things were going well, and you had the money to support yourself while going to college. Now here we are now in 2021, and you're going to complete for 2022, and your household circumstances may be different. And that's why you complete that FAFSA. It's to identify where you're at and what type of need that you need. So we can demyth those by going through the process. And so that way you're eligible for all the resources inside your community. Next slide, please. Oh, was that me? Okay, so what is financial aid? We hear this term all the time, and it's money from the federal government that helps you pay for college, graduate expenses. It's, like I'd indicated, available through grants, work studies, and loans. And so how do you apply? It's a free application. Please note the word free. You should never have to pay to complete your FAFSA form. And there are multiple supports available within the community. Dr. Hight started off this presentation by indicating an opportunity at Ohio State to complete your FAFSA. Check out the social media sites, because inside our community, we have multiple resources to help families complete those FAFSA. So your Instagram accounts, your social media accounts, that's where you're going to find that information. When should you apply? Now, the window for FAFSA has opened in October. So it's now available for you to complete. And the reason why you want to get this completed early on is because you want to be eligible for those scholarships. So it's extremely important to start that process now. And you are going to utilize your 2020 income taxes in order to complete this FAFSA schedule. And you can complete this FAFSA all the way up until June 30th of 2023. So you do have some time, but we don't recommend that you wait. The sooner you complete it, the better off that you are. So completing those steps, as I had mentioned earlier, it can be tedious, But here's a breakdown in 5 steps in order to complete that FAFSA. Right now, your guidance counselors are having conversations with you about creating that FAFSA ID. It's the username and the password that you will use every single time when you log into your FAFSA account. It does not matter if you are a freshman entering in your freshman year of college, or if you're going into your senior year, a master's program or a doctoral program, you will use the same username and password. You do need to gather some information or material. So of course, you're going to need your income taxes from 2020, your family's income taxes, but also your Social Security card and your Social Security number. If you as a senior do not know your Social Security number, now's the time to remember that number. It's very important. You'll start putting it on applications and information as you move into your adult life. So knowing that Social Security number is very important and getting it right. And you need your parents or your guardian support through this process. They are going to help you because it's their information that you are going to use. So filling out that FAFSA, you can identify up to 10 campuses that you want to send your information to. So go ahead and utilize that tool. So like we talked about earlier, your safe schools, and stretch schools, identify all of them. You don't know where you're going to end up yet because you're exploring. So fill out all the campuses that you are interested in, and then that way your information can be sent to those schools. The FAFSA form does have a data retrieval tool now, so it's linked to the IRS, which is very useful for you, and that is something that you can explore when you are working on your FAFSA. Now, at the end, this is extremely important. You have to sign and submit electronic signature for the FAFSA. And if students and their families get hung up, it's with inputting their Social Security information wrong and then the signature at the end. So when we talk about this being a tedious process, this is not something that you're going to work through in 15 minutes. It will take some time and some concentration to make sure that you get it right the first time, because getting it right allows for aid to be processed sooner. And that way we don't fall into any hiccups later on down the road that we have to clean up. So, but it happens, and that's what we're here for, to help guide you in that process. So that electronic signature and submitting is extremely important. Now, we've talked about those scholarships, and when you fill out the scholarship applications for outside awards, you are probably going to pull what's known as the SAR, a student aid report. And so that is the transcript that you receive after completing that FAFSA, and that's what you'll submit to any outside agencies or foundations that you're applying scholarship money to, applying for scholarship money as they request that. Now, if you are needing to send in required documentation, it's important to watch all correspondence that come from the college and university that you're interested in attending, because you might be pulled for verification, and that's just additional information that the college or university needs from you to help process your aid. So it doesn't mean that you're not getting aid. It means that you may be getting more aid, or there was questions that that financial aid department has to ask in order to process your aid. So getting to know your financial aid office is just as important as getting to know your admissions folks as well. So they're the two most important people on your campus as you move forward. Now that I've kind of completed that FAFSA, I've picked out my schools that I'm interested in, how do I know that this is a school that's a right fit? Well, there are tools out there on the web. So for example, we have College Board, who has a Compare Your Colleges. So here is a site, we've provided the link, where you can pick up to 3 colleges that you're interested in. and you can start exploring what type of college is this? Where is this college located? Is it private versus public? What is its campus like? Campus life like? What is the admissions process? And last but most importantly, you can start comparing that cost and aid. So this tool is a nice comparison because you add your information in, it populates for you, and you can start comparing your colleges of interest. And on the next slide, we have a college cost comparison. So this is why you fill out this financial aid, is because now you can look at the direct cost, educational cost of college. You can look at your financial aid offerings that'll be coming to you in the form of institutional grants, the financial aid. You may also be receiving some loans that could help pay for that college. And then you want to also look at your books, your off-campus housing fees, personal expenses. Is there a transportation cost? So this worksheet allows you to put some information that you are gathering on one sheet of paper to weigh out your pros and cons of attending your university or college of choice. Jennifer has also provided the link to this cost comparison worksheet that you can print off as well for your school site. So what else do you need to know when you are paying for college? Free help is available. Connect with your local colleges and university. As Jennifer had indicated earlier, we are your support systems here. So connect with us early, get to know us very well. We may not be your choice now, but we are here maybe later on as well as a safe school for you. Only borrow what you can afford to pay back. So that is very important. And that takes away that myth that college is expensive. You don't want to come out with a lot of student debt. This is where you have a choice to be financially literate with paying back your student loans. Some of us do need student loans to get through, but we've also weighed the pros of being able to pay those back. Make sure that the information that you're providing on your FAFSA is correct, so that way you can receive aid promptly. It takes about 7 to 10 business days for a financial aid office to process your information. And if you're not hearing anything back within a month, you need to contact that school because there could be a hiccup with your financial aid information. And so now you have to investigate where that barrier may have been. So like I said, get to know your school of interest, because that school of interest has foundations, and their foundations provide additional scholarship money for students who are attending there as well. So it's very important to use the FAFSA or the financial aid that you're going to receive, but then also apply to multiple scholarship options. And I appreciate you allowing me to speak on the financial aid topic. And so we have our next guest with us today.
Good morning. My name is Sierra Marth May. I'm the Community Investment Officer at Richland County Foundation. And I'm going to talk scholarships with you this morning, specifically Richland County Foundation scholarships. For those of you who might not know, the Richland County Foundation was established in 1945. We are a nonprofit community foundation, and our mission is to improve and enhance the quality of life in Richland County through strategic philanthropy and community leadership. We do that by the leadership of our board of trustees, and we have a staff of 6 here at the foundation. Grants and scholarships are our business. So while we do have a wide variety of grant opportunities, what we're going to focus on today are the scholarship opportunities. So we have scholarship opportunities for students attending college, for students interested in career technical education, and we also have an aviation scholarship and then a few other focused scholarship funds that we facilitate here. The deadline for the college scholarship is April 1st, and our career tech education scholarship application has a rolling deadline, and we'll cover more of that later. But just as a general overview, we typically grant more than $500,000 in scholarship awards each year, benefiting over 250 students in Richland County. And this slide is actually incorrect. We have over 75 scholarship funds now. So if you think that scholarships aren't out there, you're wrong. There's definitely money available. And a lot of times there's money left on the table just for lack of students not completing applications. Next slide. Wonderful. So as I mentioned, we have college scholarships. Our college scholarships are for students pursuing 2- and 4-year undergraduate programs. To be considered for a college scholarship through Richland County Foundation, you need to be a Richland County resident or a graduate from a Richland County high school. You also need to have a minimum GPA of 2.5 if you're applying for the first time. If you have received a scholarship in the past and you're reapplying, your minimum GPA needs to be a 2.0. And for Richland County Foundation scholarships, you must demonstrate financial need. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more later. But as the past two presenters indicated, there are a variety of different aid opportunities. And within the scholarship realm, there's even more opportunities. Some are merit-based, some are need-based. All of the scholarships offered through Richland County Foundation are based on financial need. And again, the deadline to apply for college scholarships is April 1st. The window to begin applying opens January 1st. So you do have a good, 3 months, 3 full months worth of time to actually get in there, start the application and fill out everything. You can go back in and work on the application. It doesn't have to be completed all at one time, but you do need to submit your application by April 1st. That is a firm deadline. We have to make sure that we stick to those deadlines so that we can make sure that we get everything to the high schools and to the colleges in time for their deadlines. We also offer career tech education scholarships. These were formerly known as trade school scholarships. We call them CTE scholarships now, and these are for technical certifications. So similar criteria, you need to be a Richland County resident or a graduate from a Richland County high school. And it can be any individual pursuing a post-secondary path at an accredited career technical institution. And we have quite a few CTE institutions in our area. You have Madison, you have Pioneer, Ashland County West Holmes, and then North Central State College also offers career technical certification programs. So if you think that maybe college isn't necessarily the best path for you, there are other options, and there are other options in our area, and we have scholarships to help support those. We're not going to be quite as focused on additional documentation for career tech education scholarships. For example, we don't require you to submit a transcript as we do with the college scholarships, and you still have to demonstrate financial need, though. It's just handled a little bit differently, and we'll get into that a little bit more. And again, the career tech education scholarships are reviewed as they are received. We switched those to a rolling deadline so that we could align better with the enrollment deadlines at the local career tech institutions and allow for more opportunities for students to apply. In addition to our general college scholarships and CTE scholarships, we do also facilitate a few focused scholarship funds. We have the Cardinal District Civitan Scholarship. the Helen Keating Ott Scholarship. I mentioned the Aviation Scholarship a little bit ago through the Mansfield Aviation Club. We also facilitate the Sandy Mazer Spherion Excellence in Leadership Scholarship and the Steve Schoenfeld Memorial Scholarship. So if you're interested in any of these focused funds at all, you can jump on our website and learn more about those to see whether you might qualify for or be interested in filling out those applications. So we do have a general checklist that is going to be helpful as you consider applying for scholarships. Number one for us is that you need to complete the permission to financial aid form. This is a required form. It has to be completed and it needs to be submitted to your financial aid office in order for them to share needed information with us. This allows them to make sure that they are not violating any privacy laws, privacy acts when they're sharing your information with us. You also want to get your student aid report. This is going to be necessary for both the college and the CTE scholarship applications. The student aid report, Amanda mentioned a little bit ago, is also known as the SAR, and this is helpful in demonstrating your financial need as one of our key requirements. And it uses the expected family contribution as well as some other information to help determine what that financial need looks like. College scholarship applicants are also going to need to have their current transcript. And when you're a graduating high school senior, you can request this from your guidance counselor and they can submit it on your behalf. If you go on to college and continue to apply for Richland County Foundation scholarships, you will be responsible for submitting your current college transcript. The transcript needs to show a current GPA, proof of enrollment, and completion in coursework, and it needs to be evident that it's a school-generated document. In place of a transcript on the Career Tech Education side, we have a requirement to submit the Work Keys Skills Assessment, which is a required document for the CTE institutions anyway. The results from this assessment help us to understand your current comprehension and your preparation for your intended program to make sure that as we're granting you a scholarship, that it's going to be a good investment with donor dollars. Next slide. So as I mentioned, we do have a focus on demonstrating financial need as part of our consideration process. And so I think it's helpful to review what those determining factors are. I mentioned that we take the expected family contribution from your student aid report. And that's part of the determination. But in addition to that, we also look at information that's submitted by the financial aid office. So we look at the tuition and fees. We consider what your room and board expenses are, any federal or state grants that you might be receiving, and any institutional scholarships. So that expected family contribution is a key part of that, but it's not the only thing that we consider when we're looking at what your total financial need is in the end. And with all of that being said, I do want to just iterate that we understand that sometimes that student aid report isn't truly reflective of what your current financial situation is. So we although we don't have an appeal process for that, we do try to be mindful of logical scenarios, and we kind of have a window for gray area where we consider students who maybe fall right on the line of demonstrating financial need, and we'll consider those students as alternates for awards, given that we still have room in our granting abilities to make those scholarship awards. We do get asked some questions over and over again, so I think it's helpful to cover those. So first is, do I need to reapply for RCF scholarships? Yes, unless you've been notified otherwise, you should plan to reapply for scholarships through Richland County Foundation each year. And with that being said, we don't only make scholarship awards to graduating high school seniors. Anytime throughout your college career, you can apply for scholarships. And you can just, you can't receive an RCF scholarship more than 4 times. Is there a financial need appeal process? No, I mentioned we don't have anything in place at this time, at least, but we do try to be mindful and understand that circumstances may be a little bit different than what's indicated on that student aid report. So communicating that is just helpful for us, and we'll try to work with your college to see if there's anything we can figure out in terms of considering you for scholarships. Do your scholarships only go to graduating high school seniors? Oh, I'm sorry, can we go back? Thank you. Again, no, we do grant to current college students as well. And if you're considering going to a career tech education institution, and maybe you take a gap year, you don't have to have gone right from high school to go into a program of any sort. So we consider non-traditional students as well. Are you, do we grant graduate or doctor students scholarships? Generally, no. However, there are a few scholarship funds that have specific language for master's degree students. So you can check out our website and see what the scholarship funds look like to see if you might be eligible for those. And then lastly, can I apply for a specific scholarship fund? Unless it's one of those focus funds that we covered, no, we have a common application and we match students to funds based on the information that we received in the application, and then what the fund language looks like for our over 75 scholarship funds. So you fill out one application and we'll match you to the funds. Okay. I do want to offer some general tips, just in my experience of having been a student applying for scholarships and facing what can seem daunting world of filling out FAFSA and searching for aid, as well as my role here at Richland County Foundation and processing scholarships. I do have some tips that I think will be helpful. I would encourage you to start early. Start early in your research and application process. You may find that you will have some scholarship applications that are due in December, and some are due as late as June of the upcoming academic year. So the more time that you have to plan and research, the better off you're going to be in finding those scholarship opportunities. Also, set reminders. So if you research and you find that there's a scholarship you want to apply for example, Richland County Foundation scholarships, the window to apply doesn't open until January 1st, but you know that now. So put a reminder on your calendar to go to our website and start filling out that application January 1st. Take advantage of those resources and the knowledge that you gain in your research process. Talk to your guidance counselor and the financial aid departments at the colleges that you're interested in. These are very valuable resources, and oftentimes these individuals, they know of opportunities that might not have crossed your path yet. So be sure that you're talking to them and using the knowledge that they do have. This next one, I cannot emphasize enough. Check your email. If you are not currently in the practice of checking your email, you need to start. When you start applying for colleges and for scholarships and filling out aid, they're going to contact you through email. And if you're not checking your email, you could be missing important information, you could be missing deadlines, and you could be missing out on opportunities. So be sure that you get in the practice of checking your email. Along with that, if you're starting to apply for scholarships through Richland County Foundation or through other external organizations, do not use your high school email address to start those applications. Please use a personal email address that you will continue to have access to moving forward, because once you graduate, they're going to deactivate that email and you're not going to be able to get that information. So be sure that you're using a personal email address and that you are routinely checking your email. Ask questions. The answer to a question is always no if you don't ask the question, and you don't learn if you're not asking. So be sure that you're asking questions so you can better understand things. Track the scholarships and the aid that you've applied for and follow up, especially if you haven't heard back in a while, just to make sure that there are no hiccups. There's not information missing that's going to keep you from being considered. Work smarter, not harder. Start a Word doc, a Google Doc. A lot of these scholarships are going to ask for essays or short response questions, and a lot of them will be the same. So if you can just copy and paste that information in and then maybe generalize it or make it more specific to the question that's on that application, you're going to save yourself a lot of time. So work smarter, not harder. Say thank you. Say thank you for the scholarships and the aid that you're given. It goes a long way. There's a lot of donor dollars out there, and a lot of them, they want to know that there's someone who really appreciates. And again, reapply. Know if you need to reapply or if it's a reoccurring scholarship. If it's reoccurring, is there something that the organization that you got an award from needs from you as a follow-up? Know your options and use your resources. So that goes back to, the financial aid, the guidance counselors, and just being informed and researching to find out what you have. And that's all I've got. If you guys have any questions for me regarding Richland County Foundation scholarships, you can find my contact information at richlandcountyfoundation.org.
All right, thank you so much, Sierra. I hope you've had a lot of information today, and just want to take a moment for us to tell you a little bit about our campuses, because sometimes we're the best kept secret in your own backyard, right? So for Ohio State Mansfield, where for us, everything is Ohio State. Ohio State has 6 campuses. We are one of those campuses. So it really allows students that opportunity to decide where they want to start or apply to start. Columbus is a competitive admissions campus. We are an open admissions campus. So as long as you are graduating from an Ohio high school and you're a resident of Ohio, you are guaranteed admission right here to the Mansfield campus. And we are excited for that as well, for that opportunity. We have over 200 plus majors that you can begin on our campus. And we have 12 that you can actually complete your entire time here with us on our campus. That is our newest majors of engineering technology, biology. We also have criminology, sociology, psychology, English, just a wide array of those 12 that you can complete here on our campus, or also go on to Columbus to complete there in your 4 years. Transcript is entirely Ohio State University. So some options there with you as well. We have the opportunity to also be involved on campus, be involved in research opportunities, and maybe even research of our maple syrup here, of our 500 gallons of maple syrup produced every year of our 1,200 trees. So definitely come drive through our backyard here so you can see both campuses. And we're excited to have you. Please look at our website, mansfield.osu.edu, for visit opportunities, virtual visit opportunities to get more information. We're excited to serve you in any way. I'm now going to turn it over to Amanda to talk about North Central State.
Thank you. As Jennifer mentioned, we do share a campus site with the Ohio State University Mansfield. So we are the best kept secret here in our community. And the difference between the Ohio State campus, Mansfield, and North Central State, we are the associate's degree program. So if you are looking into a 2+2 option or a 3+1 option, and essentially what that means is 2 years of an associate's degree or 2 years of a college university completion of that degree, you have some flexibility, and that's what North Central State offers. So for example, if you are a current College Credit Plus student and you are taking any courses through North Central State College currently, I encourage you to look into our website and the Tuition Freedom Scholarship. So you are eligible to complete that associate's degree that you are starting at North Central State College. So we've spent some time talking about the financial literacy of going to school. And so utilize the resources and tools that you've already started on. So if you are that College Credit Plus student sitting there and you're taking classes with us, look for the Tuition Freedom Scholarship. It opened October 1st. So please go to our website and apply. Some other things that to think about in your college exploration, if you're not in it for the long haul, the 4 years, you can think about certificate programs. So those are shorter versions of college coursework. So you can take a course to be certified in a certain area, or you can take up to 8 courses, which is 30 credit hours, and walk away with a certification. So our best kept certification is an LPN, or a licensed practitioner nurse. Within 30 weeks, you can complete that coursework and be a practicing LPN out on the floor in one of our community healthcare providers. So that's an example of our certificate programs. We have over 60 associate degree programs that are ready for workforce. So as soon as you complete that associate's degree, you are employable in our community for jobs. So that's 2 years of a program. We do have a bachelor's in our mechanical engineering program. So we do have a bachelor's program, once again, designed to serve our area businesses as well. So, but if you are just looking to explore at this point, or considering that safe school, apply to North Central State College, because come May or June, when you start making those decisions, you want to make sure that you have a location that's going to fit your need. And whatever you take with either schools, you have the opportunity to transfer that credits onto that stretch school or the school that you intended to go originally. So think about those options. Our contact information for North Central State here is on the screen, and then you can always reach out to us via phone as well too.
That's great. Thank you. Are there any questions that anybody might have right now that they want to put in? I haven't seen anything in the chat or Q&A yet. I think that means we've covered it all, right, Amanda and Sierra and Donna? But we are here at any time. That's what we are here to help you with. I am putting in the chat transferology.com just as a reminder, if you're looking at some of those CCP classes and how they may transfer within any of the different schools, transferology.com is a great resource. So we want to make sure that you do use that as well. So, all right. Well, it looks like it is time to move on to the next class. So thank you so much for being here today. We appreciate it. We appreciate all of our speakers today. Look for us November 2nd to talk about financial aid. Donna will also include that information out to your schools so we can make sure we continue to see these resources in your area as much as we can. So thank you so much. And you all have a great Friday.